The morning sun gleamed across the glass towers of Silver Tech Industries as sleek cars rolled into the parking lot. BMW, Teslas, and one lonely, rusted sedan that coughed out smoke like it was begging for retirement. As the car sputtered to a stop, the CEO, Mr. Bradley Hunt, paused mid-step. His tailored navy suit shimmered under the light as he watched the janitor climb out of that old machine. The man, gray hair tucked under a faded cap, gave a small smile, waved at the security guard, and quietly carried his mop bucket toward the entrance. Bradley smirked, shaking his head. "Unbelievable," he muttered. "The company's image deserves better than that thing sitting in the lot." By noon, the janitor's car became the talk of the office. A few employees laughed, one even snapped a picture for the company group chat. But while others gossiped, the janitor, Mr. Ellis, went about his work quietly, wiping windows, cleaning floors, humming softly as if the whispers didn't touch him. That evening, as Bradley left the office, he noticed Ellis struggling under the hood of his car. Smoke was billowing again. Bradley chuckled to himself, ready to walk away, then paused. Something about the scene felt wrong. Maybe it was the way Ellis patted the hood gently, almost affectionately, like it was something precious. "Need a tow truck?" Bradley asked sarcastically. Ellis looked up, wiped his hands on his coveralls, and smiled. "No, sir. Just giving her a little care. She's old, but she's special." Bradley raised an eyebrow. "Special? That car's a museum piece." Ellis laughed quietly. "Maybe, but it keeps running because it reminds me where I started." Bradley didn't quite understand what he meant, so he just nodded and left. 2 days later, a heavy rainstorm hit the city. Power went out in half the building, and several employees got stuck in the underground parking area where the old janitor's car was parked. When Bradley went down to check, he found Ellis working frantically with that same rusty car, trying to keep the emergency lights running. "What on earth are you doing?" Bradley shouted over the noise. Ellis looked up, flashlight in his hand. The backup generator failed. "But the engine in this car, it's got a custom alternator I built years ago. It can power the elevators long enough to get everyone out safely." Bradley froze. "You built that?" Ellis nodded, connecting cables with precision that didn't belong to a simple janitor. Within moments, the lights flickered back on, the elevator hummed, and the trapped employees began to emerge, safe and shaken. When the storm passed, Bradley approached Ellis again, this time not with mockery but curiosity. "Ellis, where'd you learn to do all that?" The old man smiled. "Used to be an engineer, sir. Worked on renewable energy systems before the company I was with went bankrupt. Lost everything overnight. Since then, I've been fixing things, in smaller ways." Bradley's eyes widened. "You were an engineer." Ellis just shrugged, glancing at his car. "That engine was my prototype. Runs partly on recycled oil and solar charge. Didn't have the money to patent it back then, but it still works." For the first time, Bradley looked at the rusty car not with ridicule, but with awe. Beneath the dents and scratches lay innovation, persistence, and a story of survival. Days turned into weeks. Word spread quietly through the office. The man everyone ignored, the one who mopped their floors, had once been a brilliant inventor. One afternoon, Bradley found himself standing by that same car again, only this time he wasn't laughing. He had brought company engineers with him, notebooks open, cameras ready. Ellis looked surprised. Bradley smiled faintly. "I think it's time that engine gets the attention it deserves." The two men stood side by side, one in a tailored suit, the other in not work boots, as the car's engine came to life, purring softly, steady as a heartbeat. And for the first time, Bradley saw not an old car, but the man who never stopped believing in what he'd built. Bradley didn't say much that evening, but something deep inside him had shifted. The arrogance in his tone, the pride in his walk both felt small now compared to the quiet dignity of the man who had been mopping his floors. The next morning, Ellis came in early as always, but this time something was different. As he reached for his mop bucket, the receptionist called out softly, "Mr. Ellis, the CEO wants to see you." He walked into the same glass office where he'd been invisible for years. Bradley stood by the window, looking out at the city skyline. When he turned, his voice carried none of the smugness it once had. "Ellis," he said gently, "I did some reading on your design. It's genius efficient, affordable, and sustainable. You built this with nothing but your bare hands and hope. That's something this world needs." Ellis blinked, unsure how to respond. Bradley continued, "I want to help you rebuild it properly this time. You won't be our janitor anymore. I want you to lead a small engineering project. Let's bring that engine to life again, but for the world." For a long moment, Ellis said nothing. His weathered hands trembled slightly as he removed his cap. "Sir, I don't know what to say." Bradley smiled. "Say yes. Let's make kindness and innovation work together for once." And just like that, a janitor's forgotten dream became the company's most meaningful project. Months later, Silvertech unveiled their first eco-drive engine, a hybrid design inspired by Ellis's original car. The media covered it everywhere, but during every interview, Bradley made sure of one thing. "This isn't just about technology," he told them. "It's about never underestimating people. Sometimes the ones who fix your floors are the same ones who could fix your world if you just give them a chance." When the applause faded, Bradley found Ellis standing quietly at the back of the crowd, smiling. And in that moment, both men understood something powerful. True success isn't measured by what you own, but by how you lift others when no one's watching. The rusty old car still sat in the corner of the parking lot, but now it had a small sign on it, the engine that changed everything. Because behind every dent, every scar, and every humble soul lies a story waiting for someone, just one person kind enough to believe in it.